The new Palais des Sports in Paris in this European title fight between the champion Louis Acaries of France and the challenger Tony Sibson is one of the first major sporting events to be staged there. Well, good evening. Britain's challenger is about to step into that ring to face his most critical test yet. It was a year ago that Tony Sibson relinquished the European middleweight title to challenge Marvin Hagler for the world crown. He was demolished in 6 rounds, his limitations brutally exposed. And then after 2 victorious comeback fights, he displayed his inconsistency with a lethargic showing against American Don Lee. He was ill-prepared for this contest, and not only was he beaten, but he suffered that bad cut above his left eye. And that was last month. 17 stitches and plastic surgery were needed to seal that ugly slice, and last week it had recovered sufficiently to allow tonight's fight to go ahead. Well, at this morning's weigh-in, he scaled 11 stone and 5 pounds, exactly the same as the champion Acaries. He's happy, and he's certainly determined to win the fight.
The best words ever said to me in my boxing career by Dr. Whiteson, the boxing board control doctor, and he says he examined me with a plastic surgeon, and he says that the eye is healed 100%. Tremendous job the plastic surgeon did in America, and he said I've got nothing to worry about. I've just got to go out there and win the European title.
Well, he might feel edgy, but that is not necessarily a bad thing, and he wants that title very badly. Now, what about Acaries? Well, here with me is the former world lightweight champion, Jim Watt. And, Jim, he certainly looked useful in that first defence against Frank Winterstein, didn't he? Yeah,
well, I was very impressed with him in that particular contest. He looked very sharp indeed. And keeping in mind, Winterstein in the black shorts here is not in the same league as Tony Sibson. Once Acaries got on top, he stayed there, he didn't let him off the hook, he let punches go, he really looked apart and looked as though he was enjoying himself, and wound up with a very good finish. So a very impressive performance indeed.
Yes, one is not sure about Winterstein's class. It has been said that Acaries might not be able to survive against really good class fighters.
Well, it hasn't been tested in top class, but keeping in mind, he must be looking on this as the biggest chance in his life. They're always looking for opponents for Marvin Hagler. He realises if he wins tonight, then the next logical step is a crack at the world middleweight title.
Very quickly, Sibson, he is desperate to win this fight tonight.
Well, I think Tony's mood is one of the most important factors in the contest. I think his attitude was bad in his last fight, but Tony has a habit of coming back from a bad performance with a roaring good performance. Let's hope he does that tonight.
A quick win because of the eye, do you think?
Yeah, I think the eye must be worrying him. I don't know how he'll cope with that, if he'll maybe be careful or if he'll just go out slam bang in the early rounds. Personally, I think he'll be slam bang knowing Tony.
We shall see. Well, in about 3 minutes or so, the 2 fighters will be in the ring for this 12-round European title fight, and we'll be going live to Paris to join a full house, 13,000 people there, for the whole of the fight right after the break. And welcome back to European Championship Boxing. Louis Acaries defending his middleweight title against Tony Sibson. They're in the ring. They're both experienced fighters. The 29-year-old champion has had 42 fights, winning all but 4 of them and 24 wins inside the distance, whereas Sibson, 4 years younger, he's had 49 wins in his 55 contests, 27 of which have been by KOs or stoppages. He's fought just 1 draw and he's lost 5 fights. And now we can go live ringside. There waiting for us in the Palais des Sports in Paris is Reg Guttridge.
Well, hello there, and draw up your ringside seat with us here in this packed arena. A beautiful arena it is. And there we're going to get the introductions from the Master of Ceremonies. They've been fidgeting around now in the corner, really working up a sweat there, Tony Sibson. And just the last words almost from the dressing room. There's Louis Acaries. Good-looking guy. Well, he may not be when he finishes this one. We don't know. Toughest opponent easily. Last words from Tony Sibson was, well, I've got to get out there and do the business, otherwise I've no business in there tonight. Quite a small-sized ring, I would have thought, for this magnificent arena. 29, Acaries. He's no youngster. He's never fought in Britain. And in the corner, Ken Squires from Leicestershire there, and Sam Burns in the red pullover, and in the ring with him, George Francis, the trainer, who works on him all the time. So there you are. The long drawn-out preliminaries are over, and it's down to business. 12 3-minute rounds it's scheduled for. The referee, Jean Deswart from Belgium. This is his 50th European Championship fight he's officiated. And he's been involved either as a judge or a referee in 11 world title fights. And this is the usual ritual, the eyeball-to-eyeball treatment. And they look more like a motor racing team, don't they? The Louis Acaries corner. So there you are, the tension time, which I know Jim Watt will understand as you come out for that first round. There's always, of course, the risk of injury, but really Sibson has only been cut in 2 fights, and that was against the great Marvin Hagler, and then with the surprise opponent Don Lee in Atlantic City. But he has sparred quite a bit for this fight, so it's been well tested. Acaries, crafty campaigner, he boxed in the New York gyms without appearing in public, so he's picked up a lot of experience in the last year or so. They've well managed this fellow. France enjoying themselves at the moment. They've got 5 European champions. Oh, that's good. He's Sibson opening up the man with that long left jab there. He really punches hard with that. It's good to see him using it right at the start. Remember, he gave up the European Championship and indeed the British Championship to concentrate on the world title. He made so many defences, really, Sibson. They started to recycle his challengers to give the champion a bit of work. What fight traders would call a typical continental style Acaries. Gets in that crab-like stance. Born in Algeria, but very much a Parisian favourite. It's a very negative start indeed, isn't it, by the champion? He's sorting himself out and tasting Sibson's punches, so that's in the British fighter's favour.
Get down.
We're just near Sibson's corner, and they're saying, come on, pick some punches up through the middle of that guard. It's a good round for Sibson. He's doing all the work. Very hesitant start indeed, coming into the last minute of the opening round. Sibson being a bit sensible, really. He's not going crazy and risking any injury with a bumping of heads.
Get on, get on.
That's an incredible start by the Frenchman, really. Is almost a pacifist in there at the opening round. So he's one down already. But there you are, he must be waiting to pick that shot, to do a bit of pot shotting with the right hand, I think. In the moment he gets any success there, it's echoed by this crowd. Sibson's got his supporters, of course, but really he's got, I would think, 90% of them, if not more, here. So the end of the first round. What a strange start. Jim, what do you think of that for a start?
You know, I think Acaries is taking for granted he was going to lose the first round, probably the first couple of rounds anyway. So he's decided not to take any chances. If you're going to lose the round anyway, why get knocked out at the same time? He's just gone out nice and tight. He's just tucked up to see what Tony Sibson's going to do. But if Acaries keeps doing this, then Tony should just stay behind the jab. If Acaries is giving him the rounds, let Tony just take the rounds, save his own strength. Eventually Acaries is going to have to open up. Then maybe Tony can let go with some big bombs. It's pointless letting go with big punches now because he's only hitting arms and shoulders and the top of the head. But it's certainly a very good round for Tony. A good start away from home.
Well, actually, I agree with you there. Of course, Acaries was about as aggressive as a coconut shy in that round. But he's not bothering to sit down much between rounds. They put the stool in, but he's hardly used it. Coming out for the second. He also won the light middleweight championship of Europe in 81. That was the championship that was later vacated by Maurice Hope. And Acaries fed on a long diet of British-based boxers, but none really with the power of Sibson, except for Des Morrison, who came out of Bedford, and he knocked this fellow out in a round. It's the only blot on his career, really. It's the only time he's really been turned over, and Des Morrison was always capable of doing that.
Move your head. Move your head.
Well, it's certainly going Sibson's way, isn't it? He's very controlled indeed. He's a bit of a crafty camera. See how he's trying to creep inside the guard. He just flicked the punch to get away with it. These are almost initialed gloves there. I don't know whether it's a commercial they're carrying on there, but they'll have them on the soles of boxers' boots next when they get knocked over. Sibson's good at that inside game. Oh, Jim, you're right. He didn't mind going in and taking it easy for a round or so, but I think he might be taking it too easy, don't you?
Want his title, he's going to have to do an awful lot better than this. You don't win championships on the retreat all the time, and it's not a 15-rounder for a European title anymore. It's 12 rounds. So if you go 2 or 3 rounds behind this early, then it's a real uphill struggle for you. I'm very surprised at acaries.
Well, you could say he's fighting Sibson's fight, really. That'll suit him now. Coming into the last minute of the second.
That's it. Block those jabs.
Acaries' record, really, the credentials do stand up. But an on-top Sibson who's really enjoying himself. It's all about temperament with him. He gets out of bed the right side, as he says. In the morning, I know when I'm going to fight well.
That's the one.
And let's be brutal about it. He really is on a sort of treadmill to nowhere if he blows this fight.
Don't get stiff, Tony. Roll. There the shot. Move your head. Move your head.
Well, another round for Sibson, Jim.
Sibson's round. Acaries is quite smart. He's sneaking in a couple of nice little jabs and a couple of right-handers. Nothing to trouble Tony by. I wonder maybe if at the back of Acaries' mind is Tony's cut eye, and he's hoping that maybe the longer the fight goes, when it starts to get a bit rough, maybe he can reopen the injury. But you certainly couldn't call him an all-out attacking fighter. That was a nice left jab there. He's landing some nice little pot shots now and again, but not enough to win rounds, and he'll have to do better if he hopes to get right back into the fight again.
Well, I wonder what they're saying over there in the Acaries' corner. There he is. He's decided to sit down on that one. There's a kind of second or so's delay between an impulse and action with him so far. It's a very careful fight, to say the least. Maybe it's a question of can the stalker capture the prey? I don't know. So, into the third. And there you are, 2-0, even on the most biased scorecards, which are coming from Germany and Italy, the judges. And the Belgian referee will also score 10 points maximum each round.
Block it. That's it. Block the jab. Block the jab. That's the way. Block it and counter.
Identify that voice of Mickey Duff.
Well, you don't need Jim Watt and I as a commentator here as the matchmaker Mickey Duff. You can hear probably on the soundtrack coming through with his advice from the Sibson corner. The referee really being able to stay out of the picture, isn't he? It's incredible. He's had nothing to do. See, this is where Sibson can show he can box a bit as well. You learn a bit in 55 fights in this business, and particularly when you've been in with Marvin Hagler. But he mustn't get lax at all. You see, he just sneaks off shoulder. Yes, he's going to get a little bit of a warning. Little breach of etiquette in Paris, that would be called. Oh, that's two right hands with good shots. Now that's turned it around already, isn't it? Two good right hands. He's been waiting to let those go, obviously.
Good shot. Yes, sir. Forward, Tony.
Well, he's soaking up a few left hands there. Still Sibson's round because he's throwing more leather. But they were good clean punches coming in from the Frenchman. This good shot, that is. Turns that lead into an uppercut. That's hard to stop.
And again, come on. What are they? Rip out, rip out.
It's a bit of a chess game, isn't it? With the left hand leads trying to outthink each other as well as outpunch each other.
Throw from there. Throw when you win. That's it. Throw and win.
So the last 10 seconds or so for this round, and you have seen a bit of a turnabout in tactics now from the champion.
That's the way.
But the busier punching definitely coming from Sibson.
That's the way. That's
Well, Jim Watt, that was a real turnaround really for acaries there. I thought it was about time he got those punches off. And what do you make of that one?
Yeah, well, acaries started showing us what he can do in that round. And I think one of the problems being that he's got such a tight defence. So Tony's punches are landing on gloves on the top of the heads. But when acaries lets a punch go, he's catching Tony bang on, as you see that there. And every time acaries lands a punch, the crowd are roaring. And sometimes, as you probably know yourself, that sways the judges abroad. It was still a good round for Sibson, but I'm inclined to think that the officials will score that even because acaries come right back into it. And as you see again, his punches are much cleaner looking than Sibson's, because I think Tony's going to have to borrow a tin opener from somebody to get into acaries. He's got a very tight defence, and he's throwing some nice sneaky punches. But still a good round for Tony.
Okay then, coming out for round 4. And we're sitting on an ice rink here covered with boards, and I think the way Sibson throws punches, he's not looking to get any marks for artistic content. Just wants to make sure they get through and hurt the other guy. But he's fighting a good champion's patient fight. But as Jim Watt said, he'll have an uphill job unless he opens up soon.
Roll your head, roll your head. Oh,
You see, that's, Jim, when we were talking about a little bit of prejudice coming in there, that would really be overlooked in any ring in America.
Too much faith in the European officials, as I've said before. Funny things happen abroad, and there was no need for the referee to come in. That's the first time anything's happened. There was no need for him to pull Sibson up there.
I think he wanted to get into the act, to tell the truth. He was feeling a bit lonely.
That's the way. Roll your way.
Well, yes, you see, he's getting the nagging going a little bit now. That I don't think that'll fluster Sibson too much.
1, 2. Get up first. Get up first. 1, 2.
See, it's all 2 for 1. Although there's some quality stuff coming in from the champion, he's getting well outpointed here.
1, 2.
Quantity does count along with quality of punches. Inside the last minute of this round. So, as you were saying, Jim Watt, there, the slightest punch that the acaries throws, the real crowd really rise to it. They're almost baying for blood at the back of the hall, I think. Well, even the most biased of judges couldn't even give acaries any kind of share of that round. And a little bit of needle creeping in. You notice the referee was on Sibson there right away. Well, they're clear around there for Sibson. I wonder what they're saying over there in the champion's corner now. So he's had things his own way for quite a long time, and when the going gets a bit hard, as we know, that's when the tough get going there, and Sibson is that. He's been in with one or two ordinary American fighters, acaries, Larry Rayford, Italy last December. Let's have a look at replay now. You see that left hand, it's almost a pole-like punch, and he's got a good variety, and then he shoves him off, and that earlier, that was why the referee, but he was only pushing acaries off. I didn't think that was very dangerous anyway. And back into normal speed is... And that's the incident where he didn't even push him through the ropes, and he held onto his leg to try and get back in and plant a punch around the ribs. So round 5.
That's the way. That's the way. Roll your way in, roll your way in, roll your way in.
So the advice, which you may even be hearing there from ringside, is roll his way in there, Sibson. Who knows? I notice that George Francis, the trainer, just getting a little bit of adrenaline swab stick out in the corner. I can't really spot any blood around Sibson's face yet. Hope not. Francis, you don't think any trouble with any blood. You don't need that swab stick, do you?
Well, no, but I'm just prepared just in case. You've got to be first, you know, just in case anything happens. I'm just waiting.
Is he okay in the corner? He seems to be happy.
Doing very, very well. So far, he's doing okay. Up to now.
So that was trainer George Francis then in the corner. And with a professional dental saying, well, up until now, and as you say, one punch can really make a mockery of early successes in this fight game. See the referee waving to the crowd there that no, that wasn't a low blow. He's bending over backwards to be a bit of a hometowner if need be. It might suit Sibson to draw the champion into a fight, but on the other hand, he could easily get cut then if there's any bumping and boring going on. Good right-hand punches occasionally, though, from acaries. And not so successful that round, I don't think, Sibson. He was just caught under fire a bit there, and maybe this could change the pattern of the fight. Repeated that right-hand blow. Sibson's got to move a little bit to his own right hand to get away from that counter punch. Picking him a bit accurately now.
Waiting too long. You're waiting, Tony. Chuck.
So the seconds in Sibson's corner are accusing him of waiting too long, and he's had a hard job in this round. Well, Jim, what do you think of that one?
Well, acaries is working certainly a bit better there. He strikes me as a type of opponent who's not, he never gets upset in a fight, and he's quite used to coming from behind. Some fighters need a good start to a contest, but I don't think acaries is like that. I think he's quite happy to drop behind and then come on stronger as the fight progresses. I hope Tony doesn't become frustrated. Sometimes in long fights, Tony's concentration seems to be lacking something. And he made a few silly mistakes in that round, which allowed acaries to land some good clean punches on his chin. So I hope Tony tightens up his attitude, gets back on top again, but we're beginning to see why acaries is the European champion now.
I think that's a tip-off as well, that he was pleased with himself in that round. He won that round probably. Well, he did. And can stand between rounds now. That's a kind of show busy thing. So, coming out for round 6. Early on there, acaries was sort of pouring with the left hand as though it was an unfamiliar object in front of him, but he's got very accurate with it now. Certainly evenly matched in every other sense. Both 11 stone 5, both had plenty of contests. Looking a bit reddened around the face, Sibson, but there's no sign of blood at all. I think you can usually tell the way the fight's going when the crowd go a bit quiet. You know Sibson's doing okay.
That's all, try it again.
See, that right-hand punch is a sharp one. That's really, Sibson's got to watch for that. We can see it coming, but he can't always. But it's always easier on the outside of the ropes.
Weave.
Pick it up, Tony. Pick it up, Sam. Sit on top. Hands up, Tony. On top, Tony. Zick.
Back him up.
We're midway through this round, and again he tried that pot shot right hand, didn't he, guys? Maybe Sibson figures that he can't hurt him with it, but it's a bit risky. As Jim Watt was saying, this is the one time when Sibson mustn't start getting lax. He tended to do that with Don Lee, the American, who was a very awkward opponent. He switched his stance, which didn't suit Sibson at all, and he was much taller. Now I don't want to see this happen again. So, you know, he's trying to go up a gear now in punch power.
First.
Oh, that one was intended for Sibson's chin, but missed and almost put the lights out.
Still hearing. Shoot him in, Tony. Shoot him in. Concentrate.
Can't do a lot about it, but we might need to re-identify, yeah?
Oh, good shot.
Again, Tony.
So he's busy punching the whole time. He's not really hanging around. He's not trying to stick the one planted blow in Sibson. He's just pummeling away the whole night, just getting on with his night's work, kind of firing from the hip.
Come on, tack up and work.
Oh! Now that one was, it's a second delay getting to the back of the hall, but everybody saw that, including Sibson, I suspect.
Head down, Tony. Head down.
Punch away, Tony. Punch away. Don't ignore.
Well, it would seem to me, Jim Watt, that this champion is trying to make it a long-distance fight, trying to kind of wear Sibson down a bit like a virus in a way. But he's still got a lot to do on my card.
Yeah, well, I feel when acaries went into the ring, he decided he was going to lose the early rounds. And as I said earlier, he just decided not to take any chances. But he's a real good pro. He never shows Tony any target area at all. But when Tony goes to work, he lets a couple of punches go. As soon as he's done that, acaries comes straight back and he's landing cleanly on Tony's open target. So the problem I see is that acaries' work is looking better than Sibson's because of this. Acaries' punches, as you say, they're landing bang on clean, and I don't like to give these officials any chance to turn rounds against Sibson, and any chance they get, I reckon they'll take it. See there again, another clean punch by acaries, but you never see Sibson's punches landing as cleanly as that. Tony's still very controlled in boxing well, but I'd like to see him start to bully acaries a bit.
Round 7. And you never know, Jim Watt, we might be able to pass on some of that advice to the corner here, but I think they're well aware of the fact that he's got to bully a bit, as he is here, you see.
Come on, that was beautiful. And again.
Acaries had a couple of good rounds there. Now it's up to Sibson really to get back on top again.
up and get to work. Get to work. That's the way. Cut right up.
The referee just having a bit harder job now of having to part them. They're not listening to the order break too much. And it's definitely all Sibson, isn't it, at this stage? He's got him pinned in his own corner there, acaries.
Right up, right up. Get down, straight in. Get down, get down.
Interesting to see how the German and Italian judges, and indeed the referee now, is going to mark these punches, whether he's going to say that the cleaner shots from occasionally acaries are making up for the work rate of Sibson. He's under fire here, all right, Sibson. He knew that right hand had come in. He's looking over to the corner as well, but there's no distress signals in his eyes. He's so casual, this fellow. He's got a tremendous... acaries was wondering what happened. They didn't hear the bell, and there's 17 seconds to go. And Sibson has been taking a rest. The referee saying, I don't know what's going on, I'm sorry, I didn't hear the bell, and he's right. It's a ridiculous gong anyway. It looks almost like a little hotel dinner gong. And now they've decided that was going to be a short round, and everybody's moaning, and particularly the champion, because he was a bit on top with those right hands, to say the least, at that point. And when I was looking at our watch, I wondered why the bell had gone, and there you are. It's very surprising indeed, that one. So as I say, look to the corner, Sibson, and luckily he got a longer rest. It couldn't have come at a better time for him, but he has a good temper when it suits him. He's an easy-going character. He works himself up for a fight, but he's very placid in the corner, and good for the pros to work with. And there they are, really surrounding this fellow, as I say, as though they're changing tyres on, putting him on the Grand Prix circuit. So they're even coming out early for work in the 8th round. And be a bit of an inquiry about the timekeeper, or how that gong went off mistakenly there. And maybe it was just as well for Sibson, because if he'd have been on top, there would have been some trouble in his corner. He's taking a few chances, Sibson. Jim Watt, he's trying to wade in there, but he's getting caught a bit.
Yeah, I think maybe he's getting a little bit frustrated now, because he can't get into acaries at all. Acaries' elbows are always tucked in tight, and his chin's always tucked down. It started to become a little bit untidy inside, so I'm worried about Tony's eye. I'd like to see Tony just stay out of there as much as possible. I'd also like to see Tony throw some punches up the middle and knock acaries' head up. He did it quite well in the last round. I'd like to see him do that. It'd make his work look a bit more dramatic, if you like. But it's not an easy fight for Sibson, and acaries fancies the job more and more as the fight's going on.
Well, there's a good burst of punches. He's answered your call there, Jim, I think.
Tuck up and get straight on top. Tuck up and on top.
Midway through this round, assuming the timekeepers agrees with us.
Keep your head down, Tony.
puts a fairly decent salvo of punches together every so often, Sibson, but there's not seemingly too much power in them. Although I don't think my verbal sparring partner Jim Watt and I would particularly like to take those punches anyway. But the old Sibson used to look for the one bang to knock them over with, and chants of Sibbo, Sibbo from the supporters here.
Get right out. Come on, Tony, work. Put your arm out, work.
Very untidy indeed there, Sibson. Now, I don't know whether he's flagging a bit or not. As you say, Jim Watt, he might be a bit frustrated. And the referee saying he wants them to break clean. And that is in Sibson's favour, because so far the plastic surgery has more than stood up. It's been excellent.
10 seconds, Tony. Come on. 2 seconds. Come on, Tony.
Well, just signs of flagging there, I thought, from Sibson. Jim Watt, what did you think?
Yeah, well, that's actually the first time in the fight that acaries has managed to push Sibson back for any length of time, and I certainly don't like that one bit. Acaries is not too effective on the way back. I'd like to see Tony push him back and bully him a bit, but I don't like to see Tony backing off and allowing acaries to push him back. I think Tony's going to have to try and find a way to get into acaries' defence. I'd like to see him maybe show a feint and draw a punch. He's allowing acaries to punch whenever he feels like it. But what he should do is maybe show him a feint and draw punches from acaries, and then maybe get back with some counters. If this fight was at the Albert Hall, I would be quite pleased with what Tony's doing, but being that it's in foreign soil, it's beginning to, the rounds are becoming a little bit close, which I don't like at all.
So into round 9 then. Certainly Acaries does have the reputation of being a strong finisher, and presumably Sibson's well aware of that.
Come on, my son. Keep going. Jab, jab. Roll, roll, roll. Come on, roll your way in. Roll your way in. Roll your way in. Come on. And downstairs, Johnny, downstairs.
Now there's another false bell gone there. I don't know what's happening here. It's only a minute gone, and the French Federation President Raymond Balderou is just gesturing from the ringside. What is going on? I think it's the hall itself has a gong going. It really is confusing, that.
Behind the jab, behind the jab.
So he gets a bit of success of Acaries, and then Sibson moves in and takes the play right away from him. That's the game.
Come on, Johnny, keep going. Tuck up, tuck up.
It looks as though, Jim Watt, that Sibson's also prepared for a big finish as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I can see this fight going the distance all right, because Tony can't seem to land any real good, clean punches. Acaries is so difficult. He's like an octopus there. It's as though he's got 8 arms, and Tony can't get in. He's hitting him on the top of the head, the shoulders and the arms. He's throwing enough punches to win the fight, but he just can't land any clean punches. If I was in Sibson's corner, I would tell him to settle for a points win and just go out and keep punching and try and build up some points.
And they've switched off the arena clock now that was giving us the trouble.
Grab that body, Tony. Downstairs, Tony, downstairs.
So we make it then half a minute to go in this round. Oh, well, that was a haymaker that he got away with. Travelled as far as it could, that right hand, but Sibson still got the message at the end of it.
That's it.
Well, that's the way to step up and work right there. When he does that, he's impressive, Sibson. I think you're right, Jim Watt. I think he's made up his mind that he's probably not going to be able to knock this fellow over because he's too difficult. But I thought he had a good, energetic round, if nothing else there. Let's have a look at that replay then. See that the only replay we got is how they're clinching and then the referee trying to get in between them. See, that's even in replay, it still looks fast enough punching, doesn't it? So what do you make of that one, Jim Watt?
Yeah, well, a good enough round for Tony, not quite as close as the couple of previous rounds, but I'm delighted at this stage that Tony hasn't had any trouble with his eye. So the thought of his eye must just be totally out of his head now and just a case of getting on with the job. They've been bumping heads around a little bit inside, it's become a little bit untidy, but thankfully Tony's eye has stayed intact. So I thought at the beginning of the fight they were taking a chance going in so soon after a quick eye injury, but thankfully no problem. But I'd be happy enough if this fight was at home. I'd just like to see Tony maybe nose himself in front and bully him a bit more and make the rounds more clear-cut.
10th round. And scheduled for 12, the European Championship. It's the middleweight, 11 stone, 6 division. Seems a little bit of trouble, thinks George Francis with a cut around the eye there. I don't know how serious it is. It's not it's just a little nick, as they say in boxing circles, around the left eye.
Come on, stick your hands in his face, Tony, stick your hands.
Well, it doesn't seem to have bothered Sibson at all, if he's even aware of it. As Jim Watt has often reminded me, the only guy in the arena that doesn't know his trouble with his cut eye would be the boxer. He never knows how ordinary or serious it can be. Obviously, Jim Watt, it would worry him somewhat if it opens up here rather badly, but it doesn't look as though it is. It's just nicked, but it's certainly not going to get any better.
Yeah, well, I think at this late stage in the fight, it wouldn't be quite such a worry. If it opened about the 5th or 6th round, then it's panic stations. But we're into the 10th round now. I don't think it would worry Tony too much. It would maybe just... oh, hold on a second now. Is this the glove or the eye that wants to look at? Just the glove, thank heavens.
Yes, it's just a piece of bandage coming out from the glove, Jim. Nothing to worry about now.
This is the 10th. Oh, good.
So trainer George Francis from London then just getting, as I can see here, the swab sticks out in the corner with the 1 in 1,000 adrenaline, which is the only coagulant they can use. And of course seconds are very experienced at that sort of thing. Oh, and it's again he's getting a little respite. It's most unusual this. It's the bandaging that was around the lacing of the glove.
Tack up, Tony, tack up, tack up.
I could do with getting his head away from that, Sibson.
Go right up to him, come on, weave up to him, weave up to him. Weave up to him, weave up to him.
So we're coming up the countdown then for the end of this round. And that's it. At least this silly gong, I can never understand. There's a beautiful arena like this and somebody forgot to bring a good bell along. So let's see if we can see now. It's gone to the French director, switched over there to the champions corner. And you might be able to see the fellows in the red jersey there and Francis in the ring working on the cut. And when he comes down, we'll be able to have a word with George Francis probably that what he thinks of this. And the going gets harder and harder. This fellow again doesn't bother too much about the score. Well, he's completely unmarked, acaries, so I think so with that defence. It's really crab-like. Round 11. Round 11. Well, you did a lot of hard work there, George Francis. Is he okay?
Yeah, no, the eye's gone. And
Just kind of a break for a second there. Pushing out the sawdust stool, that was. He misunderstood that, I think, George Francis. But the referee says, OK, you can take that out as well. As I was saying before, we were rudely interrupted, George. Is he OK?
You thought he was going to look at the eye?
yeah, no, the eye's gone. But you know, I think I've got it under control. Yeah, I hope it doesn't get too many punches on it.
Head, head! Head!
Well, that's straight from the corner, the people who matter. Second, of course, only to the boxer, but these guys really have to do a good job there. Give the boxer confidence in that 60 seconds between rounds.
Tack up and work! Tack up! Tack up! Yeah. He's all right. As long as he's
Well, it's a general opinion around the ringside, it would seem, that Sibson should be enough in front to hang on to this decision, but as Jim Watzel was saying, you've got to be a bit suspicious about how the judges will go in away from home. And it depends really on how big a finish Acaries is willing to put in.
back behind the jab! Behind the jab! Behind the jab! Work, Tony, work! Behind the jab!
So taking that much longer now to break, as you would expect in a hard-going fight. The pace has been quite good for middleweights.
Work, work!
So he's really got to save something now for the last round. Crowd jeering Sibson's spoiling tactics, they think, when he hangs on there. You can't blame him. He knows he's in trouble with a cut. Well, Acaries did quite a bit. He was hanging on a little bit there, Jim. What wasn't he, Sibson? And you probably favoured that one for Acaries, eh?
Yeah, without a doubt, Acaries will win that round. That wasn't a good round for Tony at all. Probably the fact that his eyes cut has given Acaries a bit of confidence. But Tony was just throwing a punch and grabbing. As you see here, it was getting very untidy. He was throwing one punch and then grabbing. Not a good round for him at all. But there's no way I can see him losing this fight. His work rate has always been higher than Acaries' work rate. Acaries has just been pot-shotting every now and again. So give us a good last round, Tony, and I'm sure that'll put the clincher on a verdict.
OK, well, let's hope so then, with all the prejudice we could muster. And why not? This fellow Acaries, by the way, is a horse racing tipster on French television. A kind of poor man's Bruff Scott. So the final round then. Well, the injuries stood up well there. George Francis has worked on it well. And Sibson knows that he's fit enough and he's got to keep going in this last round. Can't let the head flop about a bit. If you do that, you look a bit like Wurzel Gummidge, and it always influences judges, even though you may not be heard. If you're looking tired, they're always scoring the other guy. So a little bit of rough head work there, and the referee was right there. It wasn't anything deliberate, just getting his head out of the way more, but it certainly looked bad. I was looking at the referee, Sibson, as though to say, well, how about Acari's head? That's bumping and boring a bit too. Well, Jim, you don't normally stick your chin out, and when you did, you always did it with some purpose. What do you think now? How do you think it's going to go?
Yeah, well, I've got Tony in front. I mean, he had 3 rounds of a start, remember, which is a big start in a 12-rounder. His work rate has always been better. He let batches of punches go, whereas Acaries was only caught short with 1 and 2. I can't see any way that he's losing this fight. I wish he would just declare war now, as he's doing, and just have a good last round. There's too much holding and wrestling in the last round, but having said that, Acaries is as much a culprit as Tony is. But I would reckon a victory for Sibson, surely.
So be it then, we'll soon find out. Oh, and what happened there then, Sibson said get out of the way as he came in. And they're really appealing to Sibson now from the corner. Throw punches, bob and weave and get in and throw them, and he's trying to do it. The last thing he wants to be is cheated out of what he thinks is a good decision, I'm sure. So there it is then, it's all over, and Sibson raises his hands. There's no acclaim there from, yes there is a little bit from Louis Acaries. There's getting to be a habit now with boxers in anything that goes to the full points distance. So I don't quite know long how the referee's gone over to the judges now, how long it'll be before we get that decision. I hope it's only seconds. And there he is taking the plaudits, Sibson, as well he might. And a bit of jeering going on, so you know really how the crowd feel about this. Well, there's some sweaty palms you can bet now among the Sibson contingent. And
comment after throw the chin up and get into the
well, as you can see with that close-up of the eye, they really did patch that up well, but he's got problems now with that for his career, isn't he? That's a bad sign. He was a fighter that didn't cut very much early on. Well, he did have 25 successive wins. Well, there's a lot of deliberation because the European Boxing Union also have to verify the scoring. They can't alter it, but they have to make sure that it's been properly marked and signed by the judges. So here it comes. So Sibson wins it. We picked the right winner there, Jim, and really my heart was in my mouth, only that I thought he might have got jobbed out of the verdict. But while I'm attempting to fight this crowd to get up in the ring, will you carry on with your comment then?
Well, it was a good performance by Sibson, considering it was away from home. It was a very awkward opponent. Acaries never opened up at any time. It was never easy for Sibson. But all the way through, I felt that Tony's work rate was far higher than Acaries ever was. It probably wasn't Tony's best performance, but keeping in mind that Acaries is not an opponent that anybody will look good against. Tony's delighted, obviously, that he's won the contest. He's the European champion now. He's a champion again. But I don't think this is the kind of fight that you would want immediately before a return with Marvin Hagler. I think Tony will want another couple of fights to build his confidence up, because whatever else this fight was, it wasn't a confidence builder. Acaries was very, very awkward. and all the way through he messed Tony about, but nonetheless, as I said, away from home and a victory, well, you can't do much better than that, can you?
Well, Tony, Jim Watt and I both thought you won the fight. We had our hearts in the mouth a little bit at the end.
Yeah.
You know what it's like to get jobbed out of verdicts. Were you worried at all?
Well, I'll be sincere with you. This is one fight I've not enjoyed, and I'm liable to get a bollocking off Mickey, Sam, my dad, because I was trying to get, do anything in them clinches. He smashed me five to pieces with it. I've got lumps all over my head. It's murder.
Actually, your cut eye opened a bit, but they did a good job in the corner. It's closed up
Reg,
again.
that was a head, a blatant butt.
If you have a look, it's only partly
on the corner,
open.
yeah.
It's
It did
only
open.
partly open.
So fine, you're not too worried. It's a great win. You're back in business, Tony.
I'm back in business, but the people at home who matter, who enjoy my sort of boxing, I can't honestly say tonight that they've enjoyed this, because I got my jab sticking out good, but as soon as he got close, his head was smashed into my face, and I just seized up. I was frightened of losing the fight. I was going to get cut to pieces.
As always, you're always very honest at the end of the fight. Thank you very much, Tony Sibson. And with that, it's back to the studio.
Well, we're very happy here because Jim Watt got it right, Reg Guttridge got it right. I think probably because he did so much work in the early rounds, he landed few clean punches, did Tony, but he, as I say, did so much work, didn't he?
Yeah, well, Acaries, being the champion and boxed at home, did the worst thing possible. He allowed the visitor to get in front, which is a silly thing to do. Tony, as you said, his work was always not cleaner, but there was always more of it. Acaries was landing some nice clean punches, but certainly never enough of them, just a pot shot now and again. It was a good performance by Tony, everything considered. But as I said, I think he'll want a couple of confidence builders before they start thinking about Hagler again.
And obviously the Frenchman now will regret that he started so slowly and so cagily.
Yeah, well, I can understand that. I think he realises he's watched some of Tony's tapes, and Tony always starts with a bang the first 2 or 3 rounds, and I think the Frenchman has said, well, I'm going to lose these rounds, so what's the point trying to win them? I'll just tighten up and hope I don't come to any harm. But having done this, he's put himself behind. It was an uphill struggle from then on in.
But in fact, it is remarkable that that eye did hold up. It's only a month since he had that terrible wound inflicted upon it.
Yeah, well, if Tony had lost in a cut eye, I think I would have been the first one to say, I told you so. But Tony and his camp put their money where their mouth was, and they got away with it, so I'm delighted about it. But they were really taking a chance a month after it was a bad cut he had. It wasn't just a nick. But, it favours the brave, as they say.
And now, very briefly, he's going to have to rest that, isn't he?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. Tony can't afford another slip-up. He must keep winning. He can't afford a slip-up because of a cut eye or anything else. And I'm sure Mickey Duff and his manager, Sam Burns, know that too.
Jim, thank you very much indeed. Well, while that Sibson-Acaries fight was going on in Paris, in Atlantic City, Michael's